Should I buy a fixer-upper? That's a question I get asked quite a bit. There's a lot of homes out there that are in distress. Maybe people think they're good deals. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. That's why I'm putting this video together. I put these videos together just for information. I believe that knowledge is power, and I like to empower the consumer, you out there, whether you're buying or selling a house. These videos are designed to empower you and give you information that you could utilize to make better decisions for you and your family. So this is Carlos with Center Real Estate. Let's talk about fixer-uppers. So a fixer-upper, first thing, there is two kinds of fixer-uppers. There's a fixer-upper that might be foreclosure, where it's they don't all have to be foreclosures, but there's homes that are in distress where they need a lot of repairs. Like there's cracks around the area, holes on the wall. There might be leaks going on, may need roof, may need a lot of things that make it not livable, that you can't purchase it and go move in tomorrow. It's not going to be safe for you or your family. Might not get approved through a regular bank loan. So those are kind of like a fixer-upper that's in distress, right? And then there's a second type of fixer-upper, which is something that maybe is extremely dated, something that's out of date completely. You walk in there and you just want to tear out the carpet. You want to maybe remove that shag carpet, or the cabinets are just really old, not in style at all. Colors on the wallpaper, that's a big thing. Wallpaper it's really expensive actually, but it could make a house look very dated. So it turns off a lot of home buyers. That's the second type of fixer-upper, and that's the one I want to talk about today. A home that it needs some work, but it's not in distress to where you can't live there. You could actually move in there and you might have to live with that ugly carpet or wallpaper for a while, but it's actually a move-in ready house. That's what we're going to talk about today. So something to consider when you're buying a fixer-upper is be realistic. Be realistic with yourself. If you need to know the cost of that. Now, something I'll tell you: stop watching TV, HGTV. It kind of gets you motivated, and you're watching these shows online and these beautiful flips, and it's maybe there's some hiccups they have here and there, but then it's kind of a smooth transaction, and then 30 minutes in an hour, it's a whole new house and furnished, and it's beautiful. Well, don't go in with that idea. You have to be realistic and be prepared. Like, for one, hey, you know what? I could do this, I could do that. If you think you're handy, it's different than actually being handy, and then actually knowing what needs to be done, like up to code. Like if you're a handyman, you should not be doing electrical work. You should hire a professional to do electrical stuff. There's different jobs, and you need to know what you're doing. Plumbing, you want to work on your plumbing in the Sunday afternoon. And if it goes south, you don't have anybody to come in. You have to call an emergency on a plumber, which is very expensive. So you want to be prepared. You want to know what's going on with the house. So there's always, of course, get inspections and find out what the issues are with the home, what needs to be done, or that is important, and that may be some stuff that might be cosmetic. Also, what I advise people is, if you're going in there and it's going to be a big job, you want to do a whole rehab, is during the inspection period and things, bring a contractor with you. Hire a contractor to come look at the house and give you pricing, give you quotes, and tell you how much that house is worth. Okay, so that'll be really realistic on the cost, and see if that's something you could afford, or something you can handle yourself, or something you say, yeah, you know what, this is above my head. I don't think I want to pay so much money to get this house to my standards. Another tip you could do is, it's so easy online now, is you could go and say, hey, well, I need flooring. How much would flooring cost me? And you go online and probably get an estimate on quotes of the style of flooring you like, and then installation cost. You could find out a lot of things that and find cost. Go to the hardware store, look around the aisles, look at things that you might want to get, like cabinets for your kitchen, window fixtures, light fixtures. Find out what things are out there that you like and that you are going to want to put in this house, and see how much that's going to cost you. Like a light fixture package for a house to get it up to par, it could get pricey, right? Especially if you have good taste, you like expensive things. We all know most of us like expensive things. That's just how things work. So if you like expensive things, you're gonna go out there and you're not gonna want the basic light fixture package. You want something higher. So then all that starts adding up. So be in the know, study the market, study construction, study materials, and then you want to be ready. Like if you're not a flipper, don't go into that house that needs a full rehab. That's, like I mentioned, there's two types of homes that may be a fixer-upper. don't go out if you're not a flipper. That's not your job. You don't have the contractors, the contacts, the material, everything lined up. Make sure you don't go into a full rehab on a house, all right? Unless you have a really good budget or know how much that's gonna cost you. But don't try and go in there and think you're gonna be a weekend warrior and get that fixed up. So I'm just being honest and telling you what I've seen people do and how they failed and how they've spent tons and tons of money on stuff that they didn't have to, right? So when you're getting into the house right now, we're experiencing in a market where there's multiple offers, so people get caught up on a bidding war and you want to go up higher and higher and higher. So work with your real estate agent, make sure that those numbers that you're looking at for that house make sense. Now there's what happens is there's homes that sell in the neighborhood and they're fully remodeled, and then the neighbor next door wants to say, hey, well, this house sold for X amount of dollars, I think my house is worth that much too. They go on the market already at a higher price, and it's really not a comparable. You have a fully renovated home and a home that hasn't really been, it's in good shape, in order, everything works, but it's not been touched in 20 years or so, then that's a dated home. It can't be compared one for the other. So be aware of pricing, talk to your agent, do a full study and see if that's gonna be worth it. Keeping the cost in mind is important, not just the cost of the rehab and the contractor work, all the professionals you need to get this job done. You want to consider the cost of the house. Like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of people that they have the house on the market, they saw their neighbors go, that's a fully renovated home, they go for X amount of dollars. Then you have this house that's not been touched in 20 years, and people think, hey, my neighbor got this much, I could get the same amount for my house is bigger. We redid the flooring 20 years ago. And sometimes as a home buyer, you get caught up on a bidding war. I see this a lot, especially in this market. You get caught up on a bidding war, and then people end up paying more than they expected to pay for a house, right? And that's just the way things are. But then you have to include, on top of that, you have to consider the cost of repair. So now, does that still make sense or not? What I see most of the time when there's a house, whether it's really distressed or not, at the end of the day, most of these homes, when you fix it up to your standards and do a good job with the renovations, they end up being the same cost as if you would have found something that is already move-in ready. So just keep that in mind. That's why you have to study, know the market, get contractors to give you pricing, etc. And in most of the cases, that's what happens. I mean, keep in mind, if you're not a contractor, you don't do this flipping for a living, it changes everything. If you're gonna go to your job and be a weekend warrior and you're flipping your house or renovating your home, it's gonna cost you more money that way, and time crucial. So consider that part there. Consider the location also. Is whenever you have a house, you might say, hey, this house looks exactly like the other one we saw last weekend. It went for X amount of dollars. It was a great investment. Those people made a lot of money. But then this house is in the other side of town that maybe values are not up there. Might take the same work, same investment, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be worth as much as a house you saw across town. So location is important. Again, going down, working with your realtor, making sure you get comparables. You look at what is going on in that area in the specific neighborhood. The cities are big, so even in smaller cities, you have different areas where homes are going to sell for different prices than other homes, even if it's the exact same floor plan, same year built, all that stuff. Consider location. Anticipate other stuff, like don't budget and max out your budget. I assure you that you're probably going to go over budget because of timelines, etc., or you're breaking into a wall and you find issues that need to be addressed that were not in the original budget. That's something that you see a lot on the flipping shows on HGTV, so consider that. Your budget needs to be higher than you expect it to be. You have to have extra money for that. All right. I know this video maybe has been a little negative about buying distressed properties or something that could be a fixer-upper. Now, I don't want you to get discouraged. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this is kind of give you information to empower you to making the right choice. So if all the items I mentioned, they used to say, hey, you know what, I could manage that, it's very manageable, I still want to tackle this, then great. But you have the information, you're informed into what needs to be done for that fixer-upper, right? So don't get discouraged. I think finding a house that needs work, that needs some rehabbing, that needs some updating, is a great way of getting into a neighborhood that you normally couldn't afford to be in, with a house that's 100% move-in ready and updated. So it's a great way to get that lower payment initially. You it's more comfortable for you and your budget, and then you start fixing it with time. So again, this is things you want to look for a house that is maybe livable but not a full renovation. That's going to be an idea for a different video, but this is just a fixer-upper, something that you might be able to tackle part of it yourself and part of it with a professional contractor to take a look. So let me know what you think of this video. Like I said, I put these together for information and empower you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.